Hello there, welcome to a ride review. Today we are checking out a trike, and not just any trike. This is the Lectric XP trike. This is a little bit small as trikes go, actually. It's very approachable, a little bit lightweight, a lot of good stuff they've done with the design on this trike here. This is actually the #1 selling electric trike in the US, which actually is kind of par for the course for Lectric e-bikes. They are based out here in Phoenix, Arizona, which is where we are now. And a lot of their bikes have been the #1 sellers in their respective categories. You know, the XP and its successive generations, the 2.0, the 3.0 have been some of the best selling folding electric bikes out there. Their Expedition has jumped to the top of the charts for cargo bikes. And the trike, just crushing it as far as electric trike sales go. Now, a lot of this has to do with their prices. Lectric is known for having just some of the most affordably priced electric bikes in the industry, so that definitely helps. They have a reputation for excellent customer service as well. They're primarily direct to consumer, but they do have some dealers out there, and they have a lot of service centers, which you can have your bike shipped there to assemble it. You can take it in for repairs. It's always great to have that. But a lot of how they do this is just their volume. They sell so many units that they can afford to price these quite a bit lower than the competition, and they actually have some technical innovation stuff going for them that really helps them to stand out as well. Okay, let's just run through some of the overview design stuff on here. You can get it with a more traditional bike saddle if you want, but for free you can get this awesome seat with a backrest that is adjustable. You can move the height up and down on there, and this thing is it's very comfortable. It adds some stability. You don't have to worry about sliding off the back. Not that this has that much power, you're not gonna not gonna fall off the back because you hit the throttle, but it's a lot more comfortable to ride on. And comfort and stability is really the name of the game for a trike. This one's very approachable, very low standover height here with the step-through frame, so it's easy to mount and dismount. And you get a nice upright riding position as well. I've got the seat raised up fairly high, but thanks to the high rise on the stem here, and you've got just a little bit of it's almost a BMX-esque handlebar on here that just bumps those grips up just a little bit more so that you have a nice upright seating position. Really feels nice and stable to sit on. And you can adjust the rise on the handlebars as well too. You've got this release right here, and so this can actually, whoop, not that high. This can actually come up pretty high though. Let's see where that max exertion point is right there. Get that locked in. That'll get you, I guess not super high, but 3 or 4 inches, that'll get you raised up a little bit more. So if you do have the seat raised up high like I do, raise that up there, then you can still get that nice upright seating position. Now, as you can see, I have got mine equipped with the basket here. I believe this is a bit of an extra add-on if you want the basket on the back, which you're probably going to want, to be able to haul some cargo, add some utility to it. There's bosses up here in the center of the frame for mounting, like a water bottle or accessories. You can even do like a center sort of a trunk bag, and there are bosses up front to add a front basket as well. Now you might notice the headlight right here, that is definitely going to clash. So if you want the front basket, I believe you could probably just remove the headlight and then mount it up on the front of the basket so that you can have both of those on there. And it's a folding frame, which you actually don't really see a lot with a trike. So this can pop out right here. Let's see, this might be a little bit challenging to do with one hand. So that can fold around there, and then you can also, fold the stem down. Come on. There's that. So there you go. And obviously, if we were gonna, be storing this, I would, I would definitely take the seat out of there as well. I'll just set it on here. So it really reduces the footprint of it by, quite a bit. It's still going to take up some space, but compared to a normal full-size trike, this is a lot more doable. Especially if you've got maybe a small garage or you're having to store it inside of your house. There are a lot of things about the XP trike that I think Lectric did well that competing trikes just kind of missed the mark on. So let's talk about the biggest one of those, which is the motor and the drivetrain. It's a single-speed drivetrain. So it's, you know, there's no gears to shift. That does limit your top end speed. The speed limit on here is actually capped to 12 miles per hour by default, or 14 if you unlock it, which to some people might sound like a bummer, but it is a good idea for a trike. You don't want to be going fast on a trike. They just are not stable at speed. That's not what they are designed for. So having the speed cap makes sense. Having the single speed drivetrain makes it a lot more simple, and one gear is all you need when you're riding at those lower speeds. You know, you have the throttle, you have the motor to help you out when you're starting off from a dead stop, and then one speed to get you up to the top speed of, you know, 12 to 14. There you go. And the way that they implement this drivetrain system, and the motor especially, is awesome. So this is the motor right back here, your hub motor. Now most trikes put that hub motor up here in the front wheel, which is not a great design because most of the weight is to the back, especially on a trike platform. And so when you hit the throttle on those front hub motor trikes, it will spin. You'll lose traction because it's there's not enough weight up there, and also it can just cause some kind of weird handling if you're trying to use the throttle and all the power is coming from up front up there. The steering can get kind of wonky. So this is fantastic. Having it in the center back here, it is connected to the rear axle, which means this motor is driving both of the wheels, so you essentially get a dual motor setup. It's actually the same for the brake as well. You can see the brake rotor on the rear axle back there, and this is a differential axle, which is this little gadget right here. What that does is it allows the two rear wheels to turn at different rates of speed. So when you are turning, you know, this one can be locked in place and the other one can turn like that, so you can get a very tight turning radius. It makes it a lot more maneuverable than if they're locked onto the same axle and then have to turn at the same speed. And I also like their decisions with the wheels. A good design on here. These are 20-inch by 2.6, let me look, yeah, 2.6 inches wide here. Not a fat tire, definitely, but still wide enough to provide some comfort, a little bit of cushion here. You know, we're not really rocking any suspension. There is a suspension seat post here with, you know, maybe 30 millimeters of travel. Helps out a little bit, but most of your comfort is coming from these tires here. Now, a lot of trikes have fat tires, which are just, they're big, they add a lot of weight. This helps to keep the overall weight down. You're looking at about 70 pounds for the entire trike here, fully loaded with the battery and the rack on it, which is not bad. Trikes tend to be pretty heavy. This helps it to be just a little bit more lightweight and nimble. You've got the reflective sidewall striping on here. Like all electric e-bike tires, these are pre-installed with slime, which is a sealant. So if you get a puncture, they can self-seal, so you don't have to worry about you know, where you're riding and getting a flat. I mean, trying to repair a flat on a trike, obviously not going to be a good time. You can see the pedaling drivetrain in right here. You know, like I said, single speed, super simple, basically eliminates any chance of the chain getting derailed. We've got the derailleur guard on here. So you can see things are a little bit, you know, beat up on here because this is actually a showroom test bike. It's got quite a few miles on it already. But it is actually kind of fun for me to get to ride one that's got some miles on it and see how it's doing, because a lot of times the bikes I get for reviews are brand new. So now I can see, okay, you know, a few hundred miles, still holding up good. Now the Trike here is equipped with fenders. We got full coverage fenders on the front and in the rear. These are aluminum alloy fenders, which are, you know, nice and resilient. They're not going to ding up and rust the way that steel might, and they tend to be a little bit quieter than plastic, which can rattle a bit. So good choice on those. You've got integrated lighting. The headlight is very big here. You know, it's daytime here, so you can't see the full effect, but nice and bright. And it's got the side cutouts like this, which help you to see it from the side, which is very important for safety, you know, and the reflective striping on the sidewalls. And then we've actually got a triple light setup in the back here. You've got one in the center and then two out on each of the fenders. And the ones on the fenders, I believe, are brake activated. Let me see. So if I squeeze the levers here, yep, so you squeeze the brake levers and those will light up just a little bit brighter. They're not super bright, you know, so people are maybe not going to be able to see those during the daytime. More of a night riding feature, really, but it's a great safety touch to have on there. I note that it doesn't have any turn signals, so there may be a little bit of room for improvement on the lighting, but this is pretty standard for what you get on bikes, at least here in the US. All right, take a look at the cockpit setup here. I've already got the display fired on. You just hold down the power button here to do that. It's a very simple setup as far as the display goes. It's a grayscale LCD, which is backlit at night, and I love these displays, honestly. Like the big fancy color displays are often hard to see in direct sunlight. You know, we're out here in scorching Arizona, summer sunlight, or winter sunlight, I should say. But look at this. I mean, it's easy to see even on the screen here. And for me, I've got sunglasses on. I can make it out. Display is front and center, nice big digits there. You get a 10-bar readout for the battery, which is very precise. A lot of e-bikes actually, you know, will have 4 or 5 bars that just aren't actually that accurate for telling you your capacity. This is a lot better. Pedal assist level right there in the center, which also controls the throttle. You can see I've still got the lights on. We've ridden 108 miles, and you know, that's pretty much all you need. You can short press the power button here and see, you know, a trip readout. You can see the voltage coming off the battery, current, you know, over here is a trip timer, and back out. So pretty simple, but you don't need anything complex. And since this is only a single speed, we don't have a shifter. We have the twist throttle right over here on the right grip, which since we're in 0 is not going to do anything. The grips are not locking, but you know, so if you really try, you can kind of twist them around, but you don't need them to be locking on a trike. You're not going to be bearing down on those. Nice big brake levers on here, and these are hydraulic brakes, which you know, I didn't actually mention yet, but you know, we've got big 180mm rotors. There's one on the front here, and then the rear one back here on the axle works with both of the wheels, so you get, you know, all-wheel braking, which is actually not that common on a trike. A lot of times it'll just be one of the rear wheels, which is you know, obviously not great. And the big levers on here actually are, you know, most hydraulic brakes have smaller, you know, 2-finger levers. These bigger ones are a lot easy to get your hands on, and just very easy to, you don't need a lot of grip force for these, which is great. You know, trikes are a mobility vehicle for people that, for whatever reason, you know, can't ride a regular bike or have difficulty with it. One of those things that can be a problem is your grip strength. So they're really checking all the boxes on here. Now the riding position on this trike is just, I mean, look at this. It's upright, it's relaxed. This is awesome. Now I could raise the seat up a little bit more. You know, my legs aren't fully extended for pedaling here, but I have just been leaving it like this because this, I like the seating position. It feels a little bit better. You know, I can kind of like lean back into the backrest a bit. And you know, I'm not going to be going very fast. This isn't something where you're pedaling like a bike to get exercise. This is a little bit more about the utility of it, and then yeah, you can also get some exercise kind of as a bonus. Okay, so let's get started here. I'm riding it in pedal assist level 0 actually here, so no electric assist, just to kind of see how it is, you know. And they did a good job with the gearing here, so that if you had to ride it without a battery, you know, you could do that. You know, I'm going up a hill now, so this would certainly be some exercise to pedal around without the battery, but I've ridden on much worse. You know, and it is a scenario I could see you getting into on this trike, because you just have the single battery back here. If you're pedaling with it, you can get, you know, they say a max range of 60 miles, but if you know, let's say you're using only the throttle, and you're using it all the way up in level 5, then the max range is more like 15 miles. So it is conceivable that you could run yourself out. So you know, just be wary. You know, if you're carrying a lot of cargo and stuff, make sure you pedal along to really maximize your range. Okay, let's kick it on up into level 1. It's pretty tame in level 1. I can you know, I can hear the motor back there, but it's pretty quiet. This is honestly pretty, level 1 feels pretty good for like just riding and getting some exercise. Like, this feels fairly easy to ride. I don't feel like I'm pedaling a 70-pound trike. It feels closer to like a regular bicycle in terms of the amount of exercise. And that you know, the quietness too is honestly a bonus. Like, bike motors can sometimes be pretty loud. All right, let's bump it on up to 2. And 2 doesn't really kick in much more. It's like 1 and 2 are very, very tame. And I actually was reading on their website, I think level 1 and 2 are intentionally capped very low by default, just so that you don't get any unexpected like jolts of power. It's not overwhelming. You know, keep in mind, again, you know, a lot of people are buying this sort of as like an assistive mobility device, and so the last thing you want for something like that is a whole lot of power that's gonna make you lose control. So, you know, good job again. But you know, we want to test this out and go a little bit faster, farther, etc. Let's get down here onto the regular concrete. All right, we'll go ahead and kick that on up to level 3. Give it a start. Now we've got some juice going. Still very quiet. I mean, I don't really hear the motor at all. I can hear the chain more than anything. But here in level 3, it's pretty easy to get up to that, you know, the speed cap, which I believe is set at 12 miles per hour. I don't think it has been unlocked on this trike. And so I'm, you know, this is like a good cadence that I'm pedaling at here to go this fast. And this honestly feels like a reasonably good top speed for this trike, just in terms of like stability. I still feel like I can, you know, I can turn at this speed without, you know, feeling like I'm going to overbalance and tip over. Trikes are not a very stable platform once you get going fast. So this, yeah, this feels like a good, you know, kind of a speed cap where I can still get some exercise in level 3. But I want to see what it's like in 5. So we're just going to bump that all the way up to 5. Start pedaling. I can feel a lot more from the motor. I mean, look at that. We're already up to basically 11, 12. So this, you know, same speed limit, but you can get up there and maintain it a lot faster. This is a cadence sensor, which means that it is not affected by how much pressure you're putting on the pedals. It only cares about how, just, are you cycling the pedals around, right? So it's not as responsive as a torque sensor, but for a trike, this is the ideal setup. It's, you just have to cycle them around. You're not going to be going super fast. And so when you're in level 5 like this, you know, I'm not really pressing on the pedals at all right now. I'm just kind of cycling my legs, and it's activating enough of the motor that it just keeps me going, you know, right at the 12 mile per hour mark. So if I really wanted to actually get some more exercise, that's when I would drop it down to 3. The power output of the motor is going to drop accordingly, but I can still maintain the same speed. Now this is actually an excellent cadence sensor tuning setup, by the way, here. So this, and I've ridden on other companies that do this, but Lectric really has it dialed in among the best. This is called PWR. It's their power wattage regulation system, I believe is what it stands for. But the way that it does this is the pedal assist levels change it changes the amperage of the controller and the total output, but doesn't really affect your top speed. So, you know, when you're in level 3, you can get all the way up to your top speed of 12 miles per hour, but the motor is only giving you, I don't know, let's just say like 50% of the power or something. And then when you're in level 4, same thing, same top speed, but now there's more amperage, so it's you know, a little bit higher wattage, you know, maybe 75%. Then when you're up to 5, it's the full power. And this is an awesome setup because it allows you to set the pedal assist level for essentially how much exercise you want to get. You know, go down towards 3 or even 2 if you want more exercise, or do 5 if you want, you know, a little bit less exercise, but your top speed is unaffected. And so it makes it, it's a lot easier to just set it at one level and then ride at that, and not have to be fiddling with the controls to go up and down pedal assist levels. To give you a comparison, the way that most companies tune their sensors, which I do not like, is, you know, if you were down here in level 3, not only would that reduce the power, but it would also, it would reduce the top speed. So in level 3, your top speed would only be like, I don't know, 8 miles per hour. So you're just constantly having to go up and down the levels, not a good time. Lectric has really got it dialed in with PWR, which I believe is on this bike, it's on the Expedition, and I think it's on the XP 3.0 as well. And I hope that they, you know, do it with all of their models and continue to dial it in, because it allows you to have the affordability of a cadence sensor, but you're getting closer to the responsiveness and the positive ride feeling of having the more expensive torque sensor. Okay, let's mess with the throttle a little bit here. I'm gonna come back down to 1 just to show you the throttle here, and I mentioned this with the pedal assist, same for throttle. Level 1 is very, very tame. Like it's, I mean, it's basically a walk mode, not even that. I mean, 1, 2, okay, yeah, so 2 miles per hour. So extremely tame here, which for a trike, I think is a good idea. You know, on a bike, you probably wouldn't want to be going this slow, but it's nice to have this, you know, very slow, maybe it's just kind of like moving it around in the garage or something. And it's not going to be overwhelming. You're not going to have to risk accidentally overbalancing yourself. Level 2, I think, is basically the same for the throttle. Let's try it. Yep. No difference in speed between level 1 and 2 for throttle only operation. And then as you go up through the levels, we got it in 3 now. So this is going to give us a little bit more throttle juice. It'll raise up the top speed a little bit more as well. I think this uncaps the top speed actually, you know, there we go, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, I believe we'll eventually get up to that 12 mile per hour limit in level 3. So it's, you get a little bit more juice, but it's still not going to be overwhelming. And then as you go up through the throttle levels, you just get, you know, a little bit more power, a little bit more acceleration, especially. So if we, you know, let's tick this on up to level 5, and we'll just hit, let's do a full stop, and we'll just full throttle. Woohoo! I mean, it's it's not actually that fast. I mean, you know, there we go, 10. We're almost up to 12. So it's not a speed racer. You know, if you've ridden other e-bikes, this is going to feel fairly tame by comparison, which again is a good thing. This is meant to be a stable mobility vehicle. This is not about, you know, adrenaline rush thrill ride. So again, they've done a good job with just how that is configured on here. You do get quite a bit of torque, which is the real winner here. It's a 500 watt nominal motor, and it's got 65 Newton meters of torque, yeah, which isn't the best in the biz, but you know, considering the setup on here, the smaller diameter wheels, and since it's, you know, connected to both of them, it's got pretty good torque here, which you really would need for hauling cargo. You know, with just one person on here, that's not a whole lot of weight, but if you really load up the cargo rack, maybe you got the front basket, then you're really going to appreciate having that torque. So Lectric really has done just a phenomenal job with the XP Trike overall. Like, I think they absolutely crushed it on the design, and there's, you know, the more time I spend with it, there's just more little things I find that I'm like, oh yeah, that's an awesome little touch. You know, I didn't even mention the parking brakes on here, where you can just hold this down and that kind of locks in. It's got them for both of them here, so you can lock it in, and then you know, then it's not going to go anywhere. Nice if you're loading cargo. Maybe you need to just park it on the hill. You know, even if your driveway's on an incline, you don't want it rolling around when you're getting on and off. It's narrower than most trikes as well, and so, you know, it's narrow enough to fit through doorways, which most trikes you can't do that. So, you know, if you don't have a garage or an outside storage space, that means locking it up outside because it's too big to get in your house. Not the case here. And just, so many little touches like that you know, shows they put a lot of thought into design, and I think you probably did a lot of competitive research just to see how other people are doing it, how they can improve. And, you know, honestly, it's one of the few reviews I've done where I don't really have a whole lot of, you know, constructive criticisms or you know, problems to point out. There's some opportunities for improvement, sure. The biggest one I would like to see would be to add some turn signals and, you know, make the lights a little bit brighter, and put a horn on there, which, you know, that's just a general safety thing that I like to see on EVs in general. But you know, in the US, this is, you know, better than a lot actually, you know, having the lighting package that we do have on here. And they've gotten so many other things right on the Trike. You know, there's all the little touches that make it excellent for you know, what it's designed for. Okay guys, that's a wrap for today. That's the end of the review for the Lectric XP Trike. If you have questions or comments about this review, let me know down in the comments section so I can get back to you. And you can also check the description for a link to the full written review back on our website, ridereview.com, where we've got you know, even more details, everything I forgot to mention here, you know, all the specs and some more photos and stuff. Okay guys, ride safe out there, and I will catch you in the next video.